What's up, guys? Welcome to the Dan Cave. Now, for a while there, it seemed like video game adaptations were taking over Hollywood, with everything from Uncharted to Assassin's Creed to The Last of Us getting developed into a feature film. But a recent spate of news has me thinking that Hollywood might once again be looking across the Pacific for its next batch of big screen delights. No, not Bollywood, silly, though I would love to see this in IMAX 3D.
Крючки. Счастливого фестиваля огня, ребята!
That's too many guns. What are you doing? That's ridiculous. No, the next big trend is one that's actually made the rounds in Hollywood before. Adaptations of Japanese anime. That's right, once again, Hollywood Senpai is taking notice. Now, before you make like Goku and start screaming for 13 episodes, bear with me, because today I'm going to tell you why this isn't the end of the world. Before we get into it, though, let's look at what's coming down the pipeline. Now, recently it was announced that Margot Robbie, she of Wolf of Wall Street fame, was being eyed to star in the live-action English adaptation of Ghost in the Shell, based on Masamune Shirow's original manga, not Mamoru Oshii's film. Now, presumably, Robbie will be playing a version of the seriously kick-ass Major Motoko Kusanagi, and maybe, just maybe, Andy Serkis will play the Tachikoma. Who knows? Also coming our way is a version of the seminal anime Space Battleship Yamato from none other than Mission Impossible 5 director / Usual Suspects writer Christopher McQuarrie. Lastly, the long-simmering Death Note adaptation is still evidently on the way, and possibly coming from Gus Van Sant, which is an odd choice. But you know what? He clearly already knows a thing or two about cinematic high school murders, so hey, maybe it'll work out. Now, I don't know about you guys, but all three of these adaptations sound pretty freaking intriguing. Notice how I said intriguing and not no, please God, no, why no? The latter of which seems to be the prevailing tenor of conversation whenever one of these is announced. Listen, I get that you love what you love in its original form, and yes, there have been major missteps in the past, like Dragon Ball Evolution, Avatar The Last Airbender, Fist of the North Star, and Dragon Ball Evolution, but it's not all bad. Case in point, Edge of Tomorrow, or Live, Die, Repeat, or whatever they're calling it nowadays. Anyway, this film was an adaptation of All You Need Is Kill, a light novel by Hiroshi Sakurazuka and Yoshitoshi Abe. And more importantly, it was good. Like, surprisingly good. Now, thanks to confused marketing, not a lot of people saw it, but it should serve as a gold standard to which other Western anime adaptations should aspire. And, oh wait, it was adapted by none other than Christopher McQuarrie. Edge of Tomorrow wasn't perfect, and it did quote-unquote whitewash aspects of the original story. But it was an adaptation after all, so some changes are bound to happen. And a quick sidebar about this. I understand and appreciate complaints about the whitewashing of many of these films in many instances, but I don't necessarily agree that every film needs to echo the original in every single way. Now, unless we're talking about Akira, in which case you'd better set that shit in Neo-Tokyo. You'd better. The point is, anime and manga adaptations should not be treated any differently than adapting a novel. Now, rather than focus on molding at the specifics of what marketing execs think audiences want to see, just look at what made it such a compelling story in the first place. That's what they did with the core of Edge of Tomorrow, and it worked out rather well. Now, if we can get people like McQuarrie and Van Sant to approach properties like Star Blazers and Death Note in the same way, then we might have something worth seeing on our hands. And if they're successful, hopefully more people will be inclined to check out the source material and find out what the hell it was that was so cool that needed to be made into a movie in the first place. Otherwise, we're gonna be like Tom Cruise in Edge of Tomorrow, doomed to repeat the same weak sauce version of stories that deserve so much more. Seriously, Dragon Ball Evolution, go f yourself. But what do you guys think? Can Hollywood adaptations of anime and manga work? Should they be left alone? What series do you think would lend itself best to the big screen? And when, oh when, will we finally get a live-action Pompoko? You know, let me know in the comments below, and while you're down there, give me a thumbs up and share this video. Alright, that's all for this week's episode of The Dan Cave. Thank you for spelunking through its considerable depths with me, Stalak Bros. Be sure to join me next week when I look at Philip K. Dick's story of bandits and Borgs in feudal Japan, 7 Samurai Am Robot. Until next time, keep on digging.